Tackle Junkies, what's going on, fellas? Alright, real quick, I put a picture on Instagram of this setup right here. Okay, I have some mono, some braid, and my main line. Some of you were confused by the post, wondering why I needed 3 lines on one reel. So we're going to get into that today. We're going to go through the full process. I got my wife behind the camera. She's going to kind of follow me around the room. So bear with us. We're not going to do a big edit on this. We're just going to film what I do to spool the reel, and the video is what it is. But I think you guys will get a lot of info out of it. Again, we're not going to try and cut everything out. We're just going to do it, real time how I do this. And something I want to address in my last video, which is a TCS reel review. I changed the title so you guys know exactly what that reel or that video is. Check it out. I'll link it down below. But in that video, I was talking about going full time. A lot of you guys, I think I'm going full time like right away. I am trying to get things set up if I decide to go full time. No, I'm not making a ton of money to even do that right now. It's going to be way down the road. But again, you have to get things lined up for that down the road if you are going to do it. And again, I would need your guys' support. That's kind of why I mentioned it, to kind of see where you guys are at with it. A lot of you guys are digging the idea, more content and all that. Will it ever happen? I guess it is a possibility down the road. Is it going to happen anytime soon? Probably not. Anyways, guys, we're going to get into this. All right. Now, and I do have other videos that I'll link down below to kind of explain this more in depth, because if I try to explain it all, it'll be like an hour video. Okay. Braid backer is kind of what I went to. Okay, and we're using the PC Fun braid backer, which I got at Amazon. Really affordable. I believe it was 550 yards of the Onyx braid. I'm using 40-pound test. I like a smaller diameter braid. And my mono as well, which again, we'll get into that. That way my knots are not that big. But again, this was like 550 yards, 547 yards. Amazon, I believe like 20-something bucks. And I can probably back maybe a dozen or so reels with this braid here. But why I went to the braid, or the reason behind going to the braid, Aaron Martins talked about this in a video, and I wasn't a believer until I tried it last year. It definitely does work. I think the reason behind it is braid's a little bit lighter. It lightens up the spool, which gives you a further cast. Again, it's not like it's a ton of distance, but it's definitely noticeable. You will notice the difference using braid backer versus mono. The point behind backer is to save line. I'm going to grab this box real fast, babe. This is the Lose BB1 Pro. Okay, that's what we're going to spool up today. This reel will hold, let's see here, 160 yards of 12-pound test. Okay, 160 yards. So if you buy, and that's based on mono too. So if you buy like a 200-yard spool of Seaguar and VizX, okay, 12-pound test, most likely that reel, this one right here, the BB1 Pro, will probably take all 200 yards, because in VizX, especially in VizX, but fluorocarbon alone has a smaller diameter, but in VizX it's pretty small, so most likely it'll almost take probably 200 yards on that reel. Okay, you can only cast so far, and the lower your spool gets, the less distance you're going to get. So you want to keep a pretty full spool. What I'm getting at is you're only going to maybe cast at the most, depending on your setup, 40, 50, 60 yards maybe. I mean, that's bombing to cast out with the right rod, heavy enough lure. An average cast is probably going to be 30 or 40 yards. So you do not need 200 yards of main line, or good line, on your reel. So what's below that, 40 or 50 yards, whatever you can cast, is just filler. It's all it is. And that's where the braid, or mono, if you only want to use mono backer, you can. I used to use 20-pound mono backer for years. Then I went to 10-pound again because I wanted the smaller knot. Now I'm doing a piece of mono so the braid doesn't slip on the spool, which I have a video which I'll link down below. Braid backer to my fluorocarbon. And the whole point behind it, again, is filler, so I'm not wasting fluorocarbon. I may only put on, I'm using 17-pound test. And VizX here, I may only put on maybe 60, 70 yards, which is going to give me a really good cast, plenty of extra line to retie. When it gets low during mid-season, I can re-spool it. That way I'll always have fresh line. Again, what's below that is filler, which will always stay on the reel. That's the point behind backer. Okay, so anyways, we'll link some videos down below to explain that more in depth. So, first things first, what I like to do is grab some mono here. And what I just do, I got my rod laid out here. I'm just going to kind of stretch it down the rod. This is a 7-foot, I think, 3 rod here. And then I'll just grab a little bit more. So I got about maybe, 10 foot or so of mono, which will grip the spool nice and tight. And then I'm going to tie my braid to that. So what I'm going to do is just, I pulled off, like I said, that 10 feet or so. Go ahead and set it right down here. Grab my braid, okay? I'm going to tie a double uni, which you don't need. Let me grab a cutter real fast, babe. Which you don't have to tie a really strong knot because you're never going to get down to it. But I'm going to anyway, just because, you know, that's the knot that I like to tie. So anyways, we got the mono here, we got the braid, okay? I've already pulled off my line. Double uni. I'm going to tie these knots somewhat fast. Again, I'll link some videos down below. Okay, double uni. Get yourself a loop here. There's my mono. We're going to wrap it 3 or 4 times here. Okay, there's the braid. It's wrapped. That's one side of the knot. The mono we can go ahead and cut off here. Okay, same deal. Loop. Go around the braid. 1, 2, 3, 4 times. Center down. Then you pull each line, and those knots will fight against each other. Okay? I'll go ahead and pull a little bit on the tags, cinch them back down. Again, this is not a huge deal, again, just because you'll never get down to this knot. So you got your tag ends. Go ahead and cut the tag braid off. Cut the tag mono off. Like so. Okay. That is that. Now we get our end of our mono here. I'm going to use a little knot in there. Okay, these are the rapid fishing line guides right here. Easy way to thread the line through your guide. Tell you what, actually, they sent me some extras. We got an extra set right here for micro guides, standard guides. Leave a comment down below, and I'll pick a random comment and send you guys a set. Real easy to do. Get your line here, run it through the clip, just like a little drop shot weight, like so. Okay, and thread that through your guides. Okay. What's nice too, if you drop the line, it's not going to fall back down through your guides because it has some weight to it. Okay, pick her back up and thread it through your guides. Super fast. All right, baby, you don't have to watch every single guide. I think they get the idea there. Okay, now I've got a line here. Pull it out of the clip. And grab a seat here. Again, guys, I apologize for the camera work. We're rolling with it. You guys are more worried about the info than a perfect, edited video. So that's how we do it here. Got our line. Okay, go through your line guide there. Under the spool. You gotta go around the spool, so you gotta go back up. Okay, so right now the line is just underneath the spool. I use this little tool here to grab the line, like so. Leave yourself plenty of line to tie the knot. Okay, I'm just gonna tie an arbor knot, which I believe I have a video on that as well. Got too much line here. Okay. Okay, arbor knot. Again, I'll go ahead and link a video down below. Like so. Tie a little knot above the knot you just tied. It's just a slip knot. Cut that off right above the second knot. So, and then center down. I like my knot right in the center. You guys can see that? Right in the center there. Okay. we are good to go. Now any slack that I got in the line here, I'm just going to spool back up on the braid. Okay, now it does take a little bit longer to do it like this, but you got to think every time you want to take off the main line, all you do is strip it off till you get to the braid and you tie right to it. So you only have to do this once. You know, as long as you have the reel, the braid's always going to stay on there. Again, you just clip it off once you get to the braid, put on new line. It's very fast once you get it on there the first time. All right. Again, I like the knots in the center of the spool. Even when I get to my other connection knot, I try and force it over with my finger to get it in the center of the spool. If you do let it lay on the sides, that will make your line bunch up on one side or the other. So anyways, keep it in the center. So we're good there. Drag somewhat tight. Okay, so now we're going to spool this up. And I hear the braid knot coming. See it there? Okay. There on the spool. If you guys can see, there's the braid knot. I just kind of force it over with my finger because I want that to be in the center. Okay? Like so. Now, before we spool that up, this is a little gauge block, which I've talked about these in the past as well. I used to really be into woodworking. It's just a little, I guess, gauge block set for a router. Now this one here is 3/16, okay? You guys will make your own out of wood or whatever. It's 3/16. So what I do, I keep spooling up the braid, and I'll just continue to lay this on top of the braid. And once this gauge block is level with where I want my line to end, then I know I got enough backer on, because this thickness is plenty of line for the pound test that I'm using. Usually I use this for 12, 15, and 17. We got 17-pound Visic, so that's what we're going with. Again, this thickness is plenty of line to get me through, you know, the season. Again, if I do end up running low, I just re-spool. I didn't put that much fluorocarbon on, so I'm not wasting. Okay, so now we're just going to continue to spool the braid. And just watch when you're spooling. Just make sure that the line is going back and forth all the way, because you don't want it to bunch up on one side. After it starts to fill, then I'll guide it with my finger just to make sure I'm getting, you know, it all the way back and forth. Another tip too, if you have a V spool, like a lot of the Akuma reels I use have a V spool, let the V fill up first before you start guiding the line. If you don't let it fill up first, when you're done, you'll have an actual V in your main line. So let it fill up first, then you can get to this. We got a ways to go because this does handle a lot of line. One thing I didn't even think of is, do I have enough braid on there to fill this reel, because it holds so much line. We should be all right though. And every so often, take your gauge block, if that's how you want to do it. So you just lay it on the braid, okay? And once the block is level with the bevel there, then I know I have enough backer on, and this will be my main line. You guys see that? So I'm a little low there, so I'm going to keep putting the braid on until my block is up to about there, okay? I'm using this combo for, I may use it for some bigger swim baits, but my plan is to like probably just 4.8, you know, Kitex and things like that. Things of that range, more 5-inch soft plastic swim baits is what I'm going to use this combo for. Go ahead and do a checker again since we stopped. As you can see there, the gauge block is right to the bevel, and that's what I want. Check it on both sides, make sure we're good there. Okay, now I'm going to wind this a couple more times because I'm going to tie my other knot right about here, which will put it in the center of the spool. Okay, so now what I do, again, I know some of you guys, this is going to be a bunch of nonsense. But again, do it once, put the braid backer on, leave it on for the life of the reel. All you have to do is just put that top line on. You'll be much happier that you did it. Plus, you get a little bit further cast with that braid backer. Again, it's a hassle the first time you do it, but you're good after that. All right, Now what I do, 17-pound fluorocarbon here in Bizex. I'm going to just grab some here, stretch it out about where my knot's going to be. You guys ask about these all the time. It's called a shark tooth. Okay, you can see it just keeps the line on the spool there. It doesn't unravel and all that. It's got a little cutter on there. But that's what that is. It keeps tension on your line as well. You can see I have it loose here on my spooling station, which I have a video on as well, which I'll link down below. But this creates the tension, so I don't really have to have this locked down there. So that's what that is there. All right, so what I'm going to do is, yeah, I got my line here. Another rapid fishing line guide. If you haven't already, leave a comment down below. Enter in the little giveaway here. Again, put the line through the clip there. Okay. I'm going to thread the line through the guides. Stay tuned, guys. After this, we'll head to the garage and I'll show you some of the setups that I've been spooling up. All right, there it is there. Now we're going to tie another double uni. Okay, make a loop around the braid. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, like so. Okay, then we're going to cut the braid right here. The cutters, cut the braid. Okay, make your loop, go around the fluoro. 1, I made that one a little short. 1, 2, and if I can grab that, 3. Okay, cinch it down, braid knot, fluoro knot, and they fight against each other. Okay, and I'll pull on the tag in just a little bit just to make sure that knot is as small as it can be when you cinch it down good and tight. Get your cutter. All right, cut off the fluoro tag end, cut off the braid tag end. Okay, get those out of the way. The trash. I'm gonna go back here, just wind up that braid that's in the guides there. It's ready to go for next time. Now we can spool up our main line again, which is 17-pound Seaguar Bizex. Okay, you guys see my knots right here. So as it's coming through the spool, or through the guide there, I'll just push it over a little bit. The way it's in the center, you guys can see that? Okay, you can even kind of push it down with your nail, push it in that braid, start to spool up. You go ahead and get a shot of that line down there, babe. You can just see it, just that shark tooth creating some tension. You can see here, I'm just kind of, with my finger, just barely touching that line, just to make sure it goes all the way side to side, where it's not bunching up. Let's check, see where we're at here. And that's right to the brim. You don't want to go over the bevel, okay? Now sometimes, you know, guys will say that's too much line on there. We got to think, I'm not putting a ton of tension on it here in the room. When you cast out your lure, you know, whether it be a crankbait or whatever it is, or even get a fish on, it's going to put that line on much tighter than I did in this room. So even though you have it to the edge here, once you start fishing with it, again, more tension on with your lures or the fish, it will be actually lower than that once you start fishing with it. So I usually put them right to the brim, but I never put it over the bevel, okay? Never over the bevel, just right to the brim, okay? Nice level spool right there. Now I'll go ahead and get my cutters. Get another little rapid fishing line clip. Cut the line here. You can see with the shark tooth on there, it doesn't unravel. Okay, and there is a little cutter on there as well. Get my line clip. Okay, just like so. Let that hang. All right, we're ready to go here. Let's head out to the garage. I'll show you my last step. All right, this right here, guys, is a must. Okay, I'm not sponsored any way at all by KVD Line and Lure. I know I talk about it, so I probably should be. I talk about it all the time, but I will not cast any of my baitcasters without conditioning my line. It makes that big of difference. It kind of takes out the memory. It makes the line real limp, and like I said, it basically takes out the memory. So if you're having issues with your line, usually the first thing I ask you guys, did you condition your line? Because it makes that big of difference. And I tell you what, I soak it the very first time I do it. And the first time you do it, you want it to dry on your line. After that, you can spray it as you're fishing, but the first initial treatment, let it dry on your line. So what I'll do is just pull off a little line here, like so, okay? Shake her up. This one's almost empty. So I got another one right there, and I got another one in the tackle room so I don't run out. That's how much I use this stuff, and I believe in it, okay? Check her up. Again, this is way more than you need, but I just choose to, babe, I really can't see with the camera in the way, but I just choose to, this one's almost down here. Rotate the spool. Again, this is way more than you need. Don't think you need this much. A few squirts will do it, but again, I just soak it the very first time, okay? I know all that is soaked. I'm gonna loosen my drag a little bit, straighten the handle out. Okay, now this reel will be ready to go in the morning, okay? That's all I do, that's my full process. It's real time. I mean, this video's 24 minutes. I don't know if we'll upload a 24-minute video. I'll cut out a little bit of it if I can, but that is start to finish how I spool up a reel. And now, when either this spool gets low, maybe I want to change pound test, all I have to do is strip off the fluorocarbon. The braid stays on there, and I just tie it up to the braid whenever I want to respool. But anyways, guys, that's how I do it. A couple of the combos that I spooled up here. I got a couple cranking combos I spooled up. Again, these are all conditioned, ready to roll, all brand new line. Okuma Helios SX, beautiful looking reel, 15-pound test. Two exact setups right here, exact same setups right here, ready to roll out. I got a couple here from PC Fun, which we'll be talking about that in probably my next video, so you guys have been asking about those. A couple of those, 15-pound test. Spinnerbait rod, that is the jig rod, I believe. I did spool up, you can see there, babe. I did spool up another, or not another, this is the only one that I have, but I put fresh line on the Lose custom there. Fresh line on that one. And this one here you guys have been asking about. Let me get the rod here. Bring it over to you. You guys have been asking about this one. Any guesses what it is? The SLX. Just pulled that baby up. 15-pound test. SLX. And I got that on the Martin APC. This is a 7-foot version. We're going to use this combo here for chatterbaits. So that'll be one of the reviews that I'll do at the end of the season. A lot of you guys are asking about the DC. I haven't spooled up the DC yet. I'm not going to do a reel review until I've used the reel for a good amount of time, just because I'm not going to have you guys buy it and then I look bad because it fell apart. I want to make sure that it's a good reel, it holds up well before I recommend it. So I'll let you guys know how it does. But I'll tell you what, it feels fantastic in hand. I'm definitely a big fan of the feel in hand of the reel though. But that's all I spooled up so far. What you see, I do have a few still spooled up from last year. My frogging combos that have braid on it, those are still good to go. But I'm not spooling up any more reels. Kind of what I do, I spool up a handful of kind of like my main combos, my cranking combos, again, spinner bait, chatterbait, things like that. And then when I'm on the water, I guess whatever I'm reaching for, what I want to tie on more, then I know to come home, all right, I need a couple more Texas rig rods. I need another chatterbait rod or whatever, just because I'm throwing those more. Then I'll come home and spool up more. But for right now, this is what I have spooled up. Again, a few up on the deck. And this is what I'll go out with on Friday and see if we can catch a few fish. Even the old lady's going to be with me. So maybe you'll see her in a video really soon. But anyways, guys, enough jaw jacking. We are pushing 27 minutes. Sorry for the long video, but we're keeping it real here. We're gonna show you guys the whole process. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Smash the thumbs up. Thanks for watching, guys, and we will see you guys on the next one.